Things are looking good that an Ethereum spot ETF will be approved in the next 24 hours, and that could lead to a massive spike also in Bitcoin. I'm going to show you which levels we need to watch here and how high potentially Bitcoin could move based on this approval. And I give you a small hint, it is not the number that you see in the picture. It could be potentially even higher than that. If you want to know what I'm talking about, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, like this video, and also activate the bell so that you will never miss out on these really important updates. And now let's directly jump here into it. Today, we're going to start off with the ETF inflows, because we had another day here with amazing positive inflows of over 4,000 Bitcoins here, 4,280. Here some ETF providers were selling a little bit, but it is a really small number. What they were selling here, 58 and 82. Nothing from Grayscale again, which is always a really nice sign. And then when we are moving on and looking actually at the Bitcoin price, not on the weekly chart, but here on this 12-hourly chart, what we can observe is that we are not seeing a lot of follow through right now after that initial spike. So we are holding the $69,400 level, which I said would be really important to hold to see continuation. So as long as we are above that level, I expect here over the next coming hours that we would retest the $72,000 level and potentially start moving higher from there in direction of the all-time high of $74,000. The indicator that I'm looking for, first of all, is volume. So I want to see here some green volume candles again. We had now 3 consecutive red volume candles. So we need to see here some buyers stepping in, and most likely they are going to step in when they see more signs that an Ethereum spot ETF will get approved here. But we have already the early clearance signs in the making right now, and I'm going to show you them here in a moment. When we are going into the lower time frames here on the 1 hourly, we are absolutely forming here a nice W pattern. But also here, for the W pattern to be playing out, we need to break above $70,500 approximately into this smaller resistance area up here. That could be your potential next Bitcoin trade with a price target, if we break the neckline, of $71,800. So that is a little bit more than a 2% move. That is a nice scalp that you can do here. Yeah, so if you trade this with like 30x, you make 60% and potentially even hold this longer, because I believe we will go way, way higher than that once we are breaking here above $72,000 here once again. The only thing that's a little bit concerning is that the stochastic is quite in overbought territory and about to give us here a sell signal. The MACD is looking good, but get confused here. We could also turn red here and see a steeper correction in the next hour. And then we see continuation here in red candles, and only here by tomorrow at some point seeing then green candles coming in and reverting back to the upside. Regardless, as long as we are trading above the 15 moving average, I'm not really concerned as long as that is holding. And as you can see, this also continues to trend higher. And as long as we are keeping that trajectory here, the price will get squeezed more and more narrow here between the 50 moving average and this horizontal resistance of $70,500. And most likely we are going to see then that break here to the upside. Now, when we go to the liquidation levels on the 4-hourly chart, so as I mentioned, we are really close, as I mentioned yesterday, really close to break here higher. For once, we have retested the EMA ribbon technically here with the last 4-hourly candle. So we don't need another retest. We can technically immediately revert back to the upside, but we have to see here over the next 4 hours if that is actually coming into fruition. It would make sense because we have some short liquidity levels here at $71,400 to $500, $71 to $71,500. Remember, here's also this bigger resistance line that I mentioned the other day of $71,400. Once we are breaking above that level and can establish support, we're going to see another pop here to the upside. You also see this here on the liquidation levels here, that once we are breaking into the $72,000 area, that we should get another short squeeze all the way up to like $75,000 potentially. And from there, I don't think that Bitcoin is going to stop, because just Ethereum will keep running with the ETF approval. If we're getting it, and we should get in the next, 7 hours, a really big hint if we are getting tomorrow the Ethereum spot ETF or not. When it comes to funding rates, here also something that tells me that there's so much more room for Bitcoin to go to the upside, and overall the whole market, is when I look at the funding rates, because here's nothing hot. The only thing that where we see a little bit of froth is right now here in Pepper, and a little bit down here in OP and in Ondo. If I pull here the slider all the way, so okay, we're starting to heat up a little bit, but we are, for the majority, still here in the green, so here only some sporadic coins are actually in a brighter color. If I go all the way back to like 50%, so if I go here, I only need to go to like 70, things are looking way different, so that just shows us leverage is not back in the market yet, not at the same levels that we have seen in March. Things are still looking really, really good here when it comes to the amount of leverage that's here in the market. So there's so much more room to go to the upside over the next coming weeks. And that is actually also what I wanted to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin here on this 12-hourly chart. When we're looking here at the Fibonacci extension levels, the level that I'm eyeing with is the $86,800 level, and hence almost $87,000, that I believe is the next stop for Bitcoin once we're breaking the all-time high, because I believe this 1.618 will not give us any resistance once we're breaking above 74. I think we are just breaking through that. And the next real level that will give us some resistance will be 80,000, the same that it was with 70K, where we get some consolidation. And then we get to 86 or 87, and from there we need to expect then some sort of a retracement before we see another move to the upside here. So, and this can happen over the next 7 days, guys. You need to be positioned now. And remember, I told you that down here in this area, 69,400, 69,500 is a good area to re-enter if you're not in a Bitcoin trade yet. So otherwise, you have to wait for a break of at least $71,400 on the higher time frames to position yourself to catch this trade. So you have two options. Either you hope that you catch it now $300-400 lower. You wait and want to play it really safe and wait for the break of $71,400, at least with 4 hourly close, and then we get the pop. So, but what did change since yesterday that is telling us that an Ethereum spot ETF is so close? It is that the VanEck Ethereum spot ETF got already listed on the DTCC platform, and as you can see here is the listing. But of course, it comes with a catch. So they mentioned themselves, only because they're listing this just now does not mean that it is approved by the SEC and can be traded yet. So there's pending SEC approval, but once this is cleared, then because they're already listed, they are ready to put in the money and go live with the trading. And usually when we see an ETF getting listed on the DTCC, it means the approval is pretty, how to say that, safe, that it's actually happening, so it's more or less a done deal, so when you see something listed on the DTCC platform. Such a tongue breaker. Don't forget, if you want to trade with me together, do this on BLOFIN. You still get a ROLEX until tomorrow, I think. You have that option to get a ROLEX, $7,500 in bonuses, plus 10% of cashback. And otherwise, use BYBIT. You still get $30,000 if you see the link down below. And if you want a platform without KYC, trade on Margex. I also still have my link trade. We're going to look at that in a moment. And if you're in the US or in the UK, use BITGET or Phemex. On Phemex, also still up to $9,000. And if you just want to copy trade me with $100,000 worth of bonuses, then use the link to go here to FAIRDESK. All these links are in the description below and in the comment of this video. So here on BLOFIN, you see my RNDR trades doing really well, 154%. Are we up here right now? And when we're going then here to BYBIT, my Bitcoin trade is a little bit underwater, but the profit that I made so far on these other trades are, making this my account more or less break even, you know. So and that's absolutely fine. So I don't really care about a Bitcoin trade right now because I need to see like a 30% move to the downside to get liquidated, you know. So quite I don't think that this is going to happen, guys, you know, so that's why I'm not really worried. So but on the other hand, my FETS trade is doing really well and the SNX trade is still kind of okay. So here we are up like 170% and 25%. And now when we're looking at the total market cap, nothing has really changed here since yesterday. We see a small retracement. And here on the USDT dominance is actually happening what I was pointing out, that we are most likely going to see here some sideways move, you know, before we see the next leg to the downside. But don't be mistaken, the next leg can be happening in the next couple of hours, guys, you know. So there is a potential we're just a couple hours away from that move here to the downside. So I'm not putting a lot of weight and basically just let this play out, you know. So as long as we are above $69,400 when it comes to Bitcoin, nothing to worry about. Then when we're looking at the USDT dominance, the USDT dominance is bouncing off the 54.3% level. Remember, I told you this, I was expecting this, but also here over the next coming days, most likely we are going to see a rejection, especially if the Ethereum ETF gets approved tomorrow. Then I think we're going straight to 53%, and from there potentially then into lower levels once the Ethereum spot ETF is live when it comes to the trading on the different exchanges. The Ethereum Bitcoin chart is here in our first horizontal resistance area of 0.052 to 0.055 more or less. We have broken both downward sloping trend lines, and this is exactly what we wanted to see here. We wanted the long-term downward sloping resistance line seen to be broken, and also the short-term downwards trend line. Both lines have broken. Now the next level is actually the 0.0557 level that we need to turn into support, and from there it will be then a really short trip to the 0.066 level, and that will of course result in Ethereum being above $4,200, $4,500. So I reckon once we are breaking above that level, Ethereum will be almost $5,000. Now, when we're looking at Ethereum itself, here on the daily chart, we are holding strong above the golden ratio here. Again, this is also a good level to enter a trade if we come back into it. Here, again, a small word of caution. The Ethereum pump is driven by the potential approval of the spot ETF. If we should get a rejection tomorrow from the SEC, expect Ethereum to come straight back to the EMA ribbon here to $3,200, $300. Basically a 10% drop. Don't rule this out, guys. You know, so if you get in here in the golden ratio, have a stop loss just below that, you know, to protect your capital, just in case that we get not approved and you see a massive shakeout back to the EMA ribbon before we get a bounce and then start trading sideways here again, you know. So just be aware of that, because the indicators overall, they are getting overheated, you know. So the MACD is still super bullish. The RSI is slightly overheated, but the stochastic is here already flatlining, starting to flatline in overbought territory. So that's, and also price action wise, you know, so this is not looking super bullish right now. So be a little bit careful here because we are just, we are really close to the next resistance level of almost $4,000. And we are just above the golden ratio. So that is the best area where you want to be exposed to when a news event that is really imminent can shift the trend, you know. So that's why I'm saying have a tight stop loss on your Ethereum position. Then Solana is here now back in the next buy zone that we have for our next target here of $200. So if you want to buy Solana, feel free to take that trade down here and trade this to approximately $200 because we have broken the downward sloping trend here on the 4-hourly chart. Let me actually show you this. So here this downward sloping trend was broken, and now I expect another expansion here into $195 to $200. So it is still a good area to enter the trade, but it's also basically your last chance to enter this trade. I will not enter this afterwards anymore if you missed it all the way down here at $172. Fetch, like I said, Fetch is looking strong here on the 4-hourly chart. I expect a continuation into the $2.80 level. So I hope that you got into this trade all the way down here at $2.17 when I was calling it multiple times when we touched this level. Indicators are also looking good, especially the RSI pointing to the upside. So here with an ETF approval or more ETF news coming out today that all the amendments that the SEC had are fine and they are ready to go. And also the FIT21 bill that might get passed today in the Senate. That's the other really important event that we need to be paying attention to. Could trigger a massive run here over the next coming hours in the markets. So also something that I'm having an eye on. Then one of the coins that I want to get exposure to is COTI. COTI here, I just wait for another 4-hourly close above that downward sloping trend line here at 14.05 cents. Once we are getting this, I'm ready to enter and trade this all the way up to like 18 cents approximately. So that is one of the next trades that I'm taking. Let me actually mark this out here. And I'm going to trade this to 18 cents. So put almost 25% to the upside against a 3% stop loss. I'm going to trade this with 10x. That's fine for me. And once I enter this trade, I'm going to update the spreadsheet here, the Excel spreadsheet, so that you can see that I actually took that trade. When we're going to Lido, LDO, another coin that's heavily depending on Ethereum. Once the Ethereum ETF gets approved or we get the bill passed and the amendments are okay today, expect another bounce from the area that we are in right now here. Remember, I told you yesterday, if we come back into this area, that will be a good area to buy because it was such a big resistance here in the past that now it should act as support on the way down. So, and if this is holding, here also, I would maybe wait another 30-minute candle. 30-minute candle. And if we are still in this area here in the next 40 minutes, I will also potentially open here an LDO position and trade this all the way up here to $2.68. And don't be mistaken, Lido can spike really volatile to the upside, violently. That was the word that I was looking for. Violently to the upside. When Ethereum is going, you know, look at this big move here that Lido did when Ethereum moved. Ethereum moved like 10%, but look at how much Lido moved. You know, so Lido moved here 40%, so four times higher than Ethereum did. So expect something similar to be happening again if the spot ETF gets approved or we get super positive news coming out at a later stage. So then another coin that I'm looking at is still FDM. FDM is coming back into my buy area. I'm not really surprised that we got rejected from the golden ratio up here. So your next attempt to catch FDM is actually where we are sitting at. The indicators here on the 4-hourly, they are all getting oversold here again. Only the RSI is slightly bearish, but here the stochastic RSI is starting to flatline on the bottom, and the MACD has small candles, red candles. So that could also shift in the next 4 hours. So also a coin that I'm watching over the next 4 hours. And it's really, really funny how coincidentally sometimes the indicators are in alignment with a positive outcome in the news later, and then everybody says, it's because of the news, you know. So, and disregarding that there were technical factors also attributing to the fact that we could get such a move, you know. So of course, I believe that that will be news triggered. But in the end, technicals are also aligning in the same direction if we are getting some good news today. So the target remains here for me on the high side of $1.66. So that is a nice spot trade. So here almost 100% here, 95%. I don't need any leverage on that, you know. So if I would use leverage on that, then maybe 3-4x, who knows, you know. So I will not use any more leverage on that specific one here. Arbitrum also. Here I would like to see this daily candle, today's candle, to close above the downward sloping trend that we have broken. If we can manage to do that, it becomes a buy for me. Also a spot back that I would hold until like potentially $2. On leverage, I would hold this maybe to $1.40, $1.60. That would be the levels that I would be looking at, and my stop loss would be at $1.09 approximately. You can ignore the indicators if the Ethereum ETF gets any positive news today and tomorrow the approval, even though they are looking really hot and overheated. If such a news event is driving the whole Ethereum ecosystem, you can ignore them, you know, and just watch price action like here, the downward sloping trend that got broken here. Then RNDR. RNDR was spiking earlier. I did not really understand why. Maybe the Apple quarter numbers or something came out. There was something RNDR related happening this month. At the end of the month, and we are in the last week of the month, so I forgot what it was, but there was something happening that could have actually triggered that small spike here earlier. Overall, I'm still confident that we are hitting here $12.75 over the next couple days. If you miss to enter, you maybe get another chance if we come back to like slightly under $11 or here back to like $11.10. There were another coin that I wanted to mention was GALA. GALA got hacked, and there was like, how much was that? 220 million GALA tokens were minted. That's what it was. But the hacker returned all of it, including the amount that he sold into Ethereum. He returned everything. So, and that's why we see a nice spike today. But here also, we have a massive downwards trend going on since March, since the high here of almost 9 cents. So here, I would also like to see a daily close above that trend line, and then this would also become a buy for me to trade this here into the next level of 6 cents and potentially then to 7 and 8 cents above that, and a stop loss I would have at 4.5 cents. And guys, that's it already for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see what's the new what is happening in the news later. I will update you on my Twitter account. There you can track everything what's news related happening. So make sure that you give it a follow, and don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you then again tomorrow.